Welcome back to Fat Butcher Rips. It is part 2 of the 24-25 Series 1 tin case opening. The hunt for Frank Nazar continues. The hunt for more Lane Hutson continues as well. If you're ready, let's rip. All right, 6 tins already broken open. I'm gonna start with the dazzlers this time. I've been saving them for last when I've been doing this, and sorry, I just need to. Well, that's good enough. I realized I did not enjoy them last time. There's no rookies. Bobrovsky, Ehlers, nice little Leo Carlson Year 2 red. I'll take that. But because there's no rookies, the hunt wasn't quite as exciting. I don't want to end on that because ending on dazzlers that don't deliver, who needs that, right? Dylan Strome, Mitch Marner, and yet another red. So we got 1 red the first time. We've gotten 2 this time. Hanze Kopitar. Wouldn't mind getting 1 black out of this tin. Black dazzlers were honestly pretty awesome. Okay, so much for these being a short print. Another red dazzlers. Makes it very unlikely I'm getting a black dazzlers here, but we'll hold out some hope. We'll see. Byfield, Kucherov, Batherson. Coyle, Faber, the third, third Bedard from this tin case, so it's not so terrible. All right, Larkin, Rossi, and Tristan Jarry. Okay, so dazzlers in the books. Couple reds, don't mind the reds, but nothing crazy. So let's get to the heart of it here. The heart of it is we're looking for young guns. We got Hutson, Wallstedt, couple Stankovens. Really would love to see Cutter Gauthier, but more importantly, Frank Nazar. That's the guy we're really hunting, and by we I mean me. I know that's a personal preference. Yikes. Matt Villalta is not the start. We do not spend a lot of time on our inserts. The fact that I have to spin those because I have a crazy obsession with order in my life is going to drive me nuts on these base cards. It's bad enough I'm not really looking at them, and yet I still need to make sure they're in order for some reason. Victor Hedman, we'll set these over here on the reneweds. Do like those. And if you hadn't joined us for the first part of this case, which, what are you doing? Come on, let's go. We should have a couple of Young Gun canvases in here. We're going to get a bunch of these reneweds. We're going to get a bunch of the A-lines. I am not spending much time on inserts because I wasn't a huge fan. The checkpoints, that's fine. This is the third, the third Graham Clark out of this case. If Graham Clark was one of the guys we were hunting, we could be in full celebration mode at this point because we got in a bunch. Unfortunately, not one of the guys we're looking for. Sabres on the A lines. Surprising. The Sabres are officially a surprising team so far this year, which is nice to see. Speckle, we've talked at length in many videos. These speckles, I think, are meant to provide a little extras value beyond the base inserts, and it just doesn't work. So let's appreciate the effort. Liam Ogren, we have not seen Mr. Ogren. He's not terrible. He's not great either. Take it. And Hanze Kopitar renewed. Marner and McKinnon. Good names, bad designs. And we've got a canvas of some sort, and it's Kyle Connor. And a Young Gun of a sort, Bradley Nadeau. Bradley Nadeau is probably solidly in the second tier of this Young Gun class, so take that. And another 4 Young Gun tin. Breaking news, Logan Cooley. Didn't see a ton of those, so that's nice. Nice Connor McDavid on the City Satellites, and our base into the second tin. Well, right as I say, we didn't see a lot. We see one back to back. Paso and a few other, I guess, yeah, we'll separate it. It's one of the rarer. The good news is the base seemed to be in good condition. Wow, whoa, 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 okay. Couple of inserts. I mean, it's Gage Goncalves, but it is a Young Gun Outburst, which are pretty tough to hit. Honestly, I don't think we got a single Outburst vet or otherwise in the first part of this case. I think I ended up getting 3 in the Series 2 case, but they were all vets. So look, it's not high value, but it looks awesome because all the Outbursts look pretty awesome. And yeah, pretty rare. No complaints on that one. Shifley on the renewed. What is that? Yeah, DeBrincat. Among the former Hawks playing in Detroit. Got another Young Guns coming up after a Speckle Swayman. One of my guys, Landon Slaggert, who recently, depending on when this comes out, maybe not as recently, but just got sent back down to Rockford along with Sam Rinzel, which the Rinzel part was a little disappointing, but not wholly unexpected. Speckle McDavid and a second Bradley Nadeau. I guess that's better than getting a 4th Graham Clark. Yeah, and a second Ovechkin. All right, well, a couple of other inserts. If we're gonna get duplicates, Ovi is not a bad one at all. Maybe I'll look it up and put it somewhere here on the screen to see what the value of an Ovi is if it's graded. I'm gonna guess like 40 bucks, maybe. Like right on the edge of even making it worth sending. Darcy Kemper and Maxwell Crozier. Young Guns, that's one we have not seen. Nice. Connor Bedard is year 2. I remember when this came out, I was getting $5 or $6 per Connor Bedard base for the first couple of weeks, which is wild. Philip Tomasino on the canvas. Brad Lambert and a gaming card. I don't know what the deal is with Brad Lambert. Seems like he should have more going for him than he does. Maybe Lambert is a trade guy. Let's see, UD Canvas, Lucas Raymond hyping up the crowd. Maverick Bork. Another one of those kind of second tier gentlemen in this class. Logan Couture, who I think was the first renewed that we got out of this case. And now all of a sudden these are going to be spinning around. Speckle of Noah Dobson. There we go. There it is. All right. Jesper Wallstedt. I think over time, probably the second guy that you're going to really want out of here. Personal biases I have for Frank Nazar aside, Jesper Wallstedt is he's going to be one of the guys to chase out of here for a while. All right, we got an A-lines of the Penguins, and it doesn't. This bugged me last year, and it bugs me again. The fact they did a Penguins A-lines and they didn't put Sidney Crosby on there is nuts, especially because we had an Ovi and a McDavid. That would have been a Crosby, Ovi, McDavid pack. That would have been pretty awesome. Another canvas, Tyson Forster, and a Jason Polin. That is the second Jason Polin that we've seen in the case, if I recall. So it's kind of hit or miss. You know, we got Bork, and then we got Wallstedt and Polin, who are duplicates. Not necessarily a lot of rhyme or reason here. Ooh, I thought we had our guy Sidney, and we got Ryan Whitney. That's okay. Nice Ovechkin canvas, Contemplating Life. And Ethan Del Mastro, another of the kind of young defense core for Chicago. They're gonna have to do something, make a few executive decisions on who they're gonna keep. They got just too many young bodies on the blue line. Looks like we got our breaking news of Austin Matthews. I like that. J-Rob and Torchenko. And our spinning base. All right, halfway home. And Scott Morrow. Okay, well, I don't mind seeing Scott Morrow because he's one we've not seen, which means possibly Frank Nazar, possibly Cutter Gauthier could still be in the offing. Wouldn't mind those. Let's see what we can come up with here. We got a Mark Stone on the renewed, Makar on the gold glossy, which, you know, slightly more rare, but not more valuable, really. And another canvas, Quinn Hughes. Good looking canvas. Brendan Brisson, Young Gun. Okay. And we've got a Cale Makar breaking news. Caulfield and Kyle Connor. The aimbots, honestly, I mean, if I'm being generous, I'd say the aimbots are the best of a pretty unauspicious bunch with the gaming stuff. Jan Kuznetsov, I think I've got a few of his still floating around in a 5-row box somewhere. Those weren't exactly flying off the shelves even when this came out. Hey, okay, nice Sid on the renewed. The Sids and the Ovies probably have roughly similar values, if I'm guessing. And I am simply guessing. I will probably put something up, but when they came out, those things were fetching a few bucks for sure. All right, we got a speckle on our PvP. Owen Zellweger. Pretty sure we saw him at some point, but don't mind seeing him again. Base Bedard. It's a solid Bedard breaking news. I don't mind that at all. All right, if you're gonna get an insert, get a Bedard. All right, Ryan Whitney back at it, trying to make me feel like I got a double of Sid, but I knew better. Got our first Young Gun coming up after our Matthew Nyes, getting pumped. Marshall Rafai. All right, so Marshall Rafai, another guy we have not seen. And another breaking news of Austin Matthews. Seen that one. And double J-Rob, back to back. And our base. And another, did we get another Young Gun outburst? We did. 2 Young Gun outbursts in 1 case of tins. We're gonna put it back here. Hopefully there's good vibes. I'm sure it will not, like, you know, change shape and become something other than what it already was going to be, but I could think of worse ways to go out than on a Young Guns outburst. Based on the stick placement, I don't think it's anyone great. But we'll see. Look at that, back-to-back tins that have Sid the Kid. And not just because that's, you know, what he was called at that point. It's right there on the card. That's pretty cool. It's a good one to double up on. All right, J-Rob yet again, since heavy J-Rob action. Luca Del Bel Belluz. I think we've seen him once. It's hard to forget saying that name, I have to say. That's distinctive. Connor Bedard, breaking news. We're Draisaitl, Pettersson, another Bedard. We're doubling up on a lot of these inserts, but they're decent players, so not all bad. Adam Fox, UD Canvas, and Josh Doan. That's one we have not seen, and you know, he's pretty solid for Buffalo, so I'm not upset whatsoever to see Josh Doan pop up. That would not have been the case this time last year. I was not a big Josh Doan guy. All right, one more tin plus a pack. Canvas of Bobby Brink, just kicking the soccer ball around. Second Brad Lambert we have seen. I don't recall there being anything crazy with Brad Lambert, so hopefully that doesn't hold true. And Bobrovsky, that's a good looking renewed. We've not seen that before. Happy to see that. And an Ovi City Satellites and a bit of base. And Seth Jarvis on the UD canvas. Okay, well, Marshall Rafai. I probably shouldn't have talked quite so much trash about Marshall Rafai. We've only seen one Young Guns canvas out of this tin, and case rather, of tins, and I think the odds would have said probably 3, if not at least 2, so it'd be nice to see one here in this last bunch. Not in this pack. This one's an A-Lines pack with the Kings, which I don't mind. I do like the A-Lines, and we've gotten quite a few of them, which is a nice little low-key bonus. Ivan Fedotov. I was confusing him and Kolosov, who has looked better, even though I don't think he's like a fixture by any stretch either. Fedotov looked halfway decent early last year. I'll put up, hopefully, where he's at, what he's up to. I don't think it's much. Renewed of the Nuge. Good looking. Have not seen that one. And base. 2 more packs. Got a Speckle Hellebuck. My guy, Landon Slaggert. Captain Rockford. Helping those Ice Hogs get it done now. Hopefully he'll be back at some point. And a breaking news of Leo. And a couple of inserts. And our base. So, we have 1 pack, which, honestly, if this Outburst is not a Young Guns, I'm going to feel kind of like an idiot. But I thought it looked Young Gunny, so we held it. We had an Ovechkin on the checkpoints, which I don't know that he gets super physical these days, but fair enough. We had all of our base, and we did have what looks to be Josh Doan. Okay, I'm not upset with that by any stretch. He's a top 10 guy in this Young Guns class, to be sure, at this point, in my view at least. And since I'm opening it, my view matters. Okay, so that is part 2. I'm going to clear some of this out of the way, pull some of the cards from the first half of this case, and we'll do a quick recap of what a case of tins from Series 1 gave us. Hang tight. All right, let's do a quick recap. We'll start here in the middle. This entire stack is all just common inserts. A lot of gaming, a lot of OPG glossy, gold and bronze or otherwise. A lot of speckle in here. You can see some speckling happening. Good vet names are in here somewhere. I'll go ahead and probably pull it out, but yeah, I mean, it's just a bulk of inserts, so it's fine. The more interesting inserts, we'll start here. These were all the exclusive Dazzlers. We got quite a few oranges, including 3 Connor Bedards, which not so shabby. We did get 4 reds across the case. Nobody great. Nyquist, Carlson, Kopitar, Kreider. Nothing huge, but there aren't a lot of huge names in this Dazzlers checklist. None of the black Dazzlers, which honestly look pretty amazing, so I was a little bummed on that, but you know, it is what it is. These are kind of the mix of A-lines, canvases, and breaking news. These are kind of the half step up inserts, as you will. Of those, we did get 2 portrait inserts that were portrait black of Thomas and Verhaeghe. Again, not a ton of value in that, but rarer, so we'll take it. quite a few of the renews, including a good amount of duplicates across it. But if you're going to do that in this series, 2 Sids, 2 Ovies, yeah, we'll take that. Did not get Taves, did not get Kane. Those were my guys I was really shooting for out of that group, but you know, you get what you get sometimes. Actually, you know what? Pause.
Well, we're waiting.
Unpaused. I counted the Young Guns. That's what I forgot to do. You're meant to get, by odds, 36. I got 48. So we basically got an extra Young Gun in every 10, give or take. So it's pretty good from that perspective. We have quite a few. We've got some doubles, which is fine. These are all kind of the more common. We did get one of the checklists. We got Josh Doan, who I think is solid. Brazeau, who I think is solid. We got 2 Stankovens. We only got 1 Young Gun Canvas, which by odds, we should have probably gotten 3. But by odds, we really shouldn't have gotten any Young Gun Outbursts. And we got 2, and one of which is pretty solid in Josh Doan. Gage Goncalves, yeah, you know, Goncalves is fine. he's not a big draw, but getting these was a nice little bonus. And from the kind of bigger names, we didn't get Nazar, we didn't get Gauthier, which I'm kind of bummed about on the Nazar side. But tough to be bummed with 2 Jesper Wallstedts, who, as I've said a few times, is probably the number 2 guy in this class at this point. Plus the big lane Hutson. All look really nice. And again, at the price, which I'm going by memory, I think I paid somewhere between $320 and $340, something like that. I'll put it up, I'm sure. It's really hard to go wrong, especially if you hit a couple of the solid guys, which we did. And you know, you can nickel and dime. I'm sure those outbursts are a couple bucks, and you know, some of the reneweds, and you know, some of these guys, if people are still trying to make a set or prospect on a few guys, hit me up. I've got some guys hanging around. So another, in my view, successful opening. Obviously, Series 2, we hit a couple of Celebrinis. You're gonna have a hard press to top that, but given that Series 1 is a little deeper but a little less high end, I think we did a pretty solid job nonetheless. So thanks for checking this one out. I'm not sure when this will come out, probably after Ingrained Icons. I've got some of that I'll have opened hopefully, but I have something else that probably will take longer than this will take to go up for an Ingrained Icons I'm kind of interested in doing, so keep an eye out for that. Who knows what else I've got coming along the way by this point, so I'm sure it'll be something interesting. And I appreciate you hanging out for this one, and hopefully you'll check anything else that's coming along the way. So with that, if you get a chance, please comment, like, subscribe. I'm actually, as of this video, as I'm filming it, I'm not super far away. I'm like 45 away from 500 subs, which I know for a lot of channels is peanuts, but for me is a really big deal. So I'm really excited, and hopefully by the time the Blackhawks tins come out sometime in January, I'll be above 500. That's a goal. So if you get a chance, I'd really appreciate it if you could try to help me along the way. So that's it. We're gonna wrap it up, and I will catch you in the next one.